Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Chandra Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Chandra Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Vrtajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Vrtajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Vrtajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Vrtajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we are reading from the Srimad-bhagavatam, 8th canto, chapter 3, two texts is 8 and 9. So read the Sanskrit. Navidyate yasha chachanda karmava namama rupe gunadosha evava tatapi lokapyaya sambhavaya ya samayaya tanu kalam richati Tasmai nama parishaya Brahmane Nanta Shaktaye Arupayoru Rupaya Nama Ascharya Karmane. Get me through again. Navidyate Yasha Chajanma Karmava Nanama Rupe Gunadosha Evava Tatapi Lokapyaya Sambhavaya Swamayaya Tani Anukalam Richati Tasmai Nama Parishaya Brahmane Nanta Shaktaye Arupaya Yoru Rupaya Nama Ascharya Karmane. Word for word synonyms. Na, not. Vidyate, there is. Yasha, of whom, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Cha, also. Janma, birth. Karma, activities. Va, or. Na, nor. Namarupe, any material name or material form. Guna, qualities. Doshaha, fault. Eva, certainly. Va, either. Tatapi, still. Loka, of this cosmic manifestation. Apyaya, who is the destruction. Sambhavaya, and creation. Yaha, he who. Swamayaya, by his own potency. Tani, activities. Anukalam, eternally. Richati, accepts. Tasmai, unto him. Namaha, I offer my obeisances. Para, transcendental. Ishaya, who is the supreme controller. Brahmane, who is the supreme Brahman. Or Par-Brahman. Ananta Shaktaye, with unlimited potency. Arupaya, possessing no material form. Ururupaya, possessing various forms as incarnations. Namaha, I offer my obeisances. Ascharya Karmane, whose activities are wonderful. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has no material birth, activities, name, form, qualities, or faults. To fulfill the purpose for which this material world is created and destroyed, he comes in the form of a human being like Lord Rama or Lord Krishna, by his original internal potency. He has immense potency and in various forms, all free from material contamination. He acts wonderfully. He is therefore the supreme Brahman. I offer my respects to him. In the Vishnu Purana, purport, in the Vishnu Purana it is said, Gunangs cha doshangs cha mune vyatita samasta kalyana gunatmako hi. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has no material form, qualities, or faults. He is spiritual and is the only reservoir of all spiritual qualities. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 8, by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Paritranaya sadhunam, vinashaya chaduskritam. The Lord's activities of saving the devotees and annihilating the demons are transcendental. Anyone annihilated by the Supreme Personality of Godhead gets the same result as a devotee who is protected by the Lord. Both of them are transcendentally promoted. The only difference is that the devotee goes directly to the spiritual planets and becomes an associate of the Supreme Lord, whereas demons are promoted to the Brahma Loka, the impersonal effulgence of the Lord. Both of them, however, are transcendentally promoted. The Lord's killing or annihilating of the demons is not exactly like that of the killing of this material world. Although he appears to act within the modes of material nature, he is nirguna, above the modes of nature. His name is not material. Otherwise, how could one get liberation by chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Rama? The names of the Lord, like Rama and Krishna, are non-different from the person Rama and Krishna. Thus, by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one constantly associates with Rama and Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore becomes liberated. A practical example is Ajamil, who always remained transcendental to his activities simply by chanting the name of Narayan. If this is true of Ajamil, what is to be said of the Supreme Lord? When the Lord comes to this material world, he does not become a product of matter. This is confirmed throughout the Bhagavad Gita. Janma karma chame divyam or avajananti mang mudha manushing tanum ashritam. Therefore, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Rama or Krishna, descends to act transcendentally for our benefit, we should not consider him an ordinary human being. When the Lord comes, he does so on the basis of his spiritual potency, sambhavyatma mayaya. Because he is not forced to come by the material energy, he is always transcendental. One should not consider the Supreme Lord an ordinary human being. Material names and forms are contaminated, but spiritual name and spiritual form are transcendental. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Gnana-shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, um, the Lord, there's several points here. One point is we say that the result is basically the same. Uh, if Krishna kills a demon, or if Krishna, awards a devotee at the time of death, uh, both are raised to a transcendental position. Okay, because the devotee will go back to the spiritual world, or to become an associate of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the demon who was killed directly by Lord Krishna, he will merge in the Brahmajyoti, which is the effulgence from Krishna's body. But the Brahmajyoti is also a kind of a transcendental position. It's not material. So Lord Krishna gives special blessings even to the demons that he kills. And even though the Lord in the material world, he may appear in the playing the role of like a human being. He may do so many activities that appear to be what ordinary people would do, but he's not in any way affected by those activities. If an ordinary person decides to kill someone, then there's reaction generally. There are some exceptions, but if an ordinary person decides to go out and just murder someone, I just don't like my neighbor down the street, so I'm going to go out and kill him. That way I don't have to worry about him anymore. Finished. So someone does that, they can do it, but the reaction will be there. They'll have to suffer. They'll have to be taken to see Yamaraj at the time of death, and they'll get the appropriate punishment for that. Whereas, if Lord Krishna decides to kill anyone, then he does not under the law of karma. He does not suffer some reaction because of his killing, and the results of his killing are all good. So killing or rewarding or benedicting someone, it's all coming from Lord Krishna. It's all transcendental. And Srila Prabhupada gives the example of Ajamil. So Ajamil was in his youth, he was a devotee, a Brahmana and devotee. He was actually had some seriousness about his spiritual life. But he got off the path. He got involved with a prostitute. He started living with that prostitute, and he and had many children in that relationship for many years. This all started when he was a young man, and even at the age of, well, I don't know what the age was. He was definitely old age. Still, they were having children. He was giving children. And the latest child was Narayan. Because of his previous training, he named, at least this particular child, he named we would say a spiritual name, the name of God. And he was always calling this child constantly. And he was actually so bewildered that even though he was engaged in so much sinful activities during his lifetime, he didn't even realize what he was doing. He didn't even realize he was doing something wrong. He was just completely bewildered. but he was always constantly chanting the name of Narayan again and again and again. Narayan come here, Narayan do this, Narayan do that. He was very much attached to his child by the name of Narayan. But because the name of Narayan is like the name of Krishna, it's a transcendental sound vibration. It's transcendental. So um, he was actually not actually entangling himself more and more and more in the material nature because he was constantly chanting the name of Narayan. So what to speak of if we, willingly and knowingly we chant Hare Krishna mantra, we avoid the sinful activities. He was engaged in sinful activities, but not realizing what he was doing, and he was being protected just because he was always chanting the name of Narayan. So one might think, well, if he could do that, be sinful his whole life and always saying Narayan, 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 and be protected ultimately because of that, why can't we do that? But in practicing Krishna consciousness, we need we can we have 10 offenses. We have 10 offenses that are to be avoided, and the seventh offense is to commit sinful activities on the strength of chanting the holy names of the Lord. Because if you've then engaged in sinful activities and you chant Hare Krishna, you can become free from those reactions. But if you are intentionally engaging in sinful activities and just chanting so that you can engage and try to enjoy the material sinful activities and at the same time not get reaction, if you're planning like that, then it's actually very sinful. Ajamil, somehow or other, he was not planning like that. He was not thinking, I will engage in sinful activities and I'll chant the names of God and therefore I will be free from that so I can engage more in sinful activities. He was just completely bewildered, but he was chanting the name of God, not meaning God. He was just chanting the name of his son, whose name was Narayan. And of course, this is one of the reasons, in a sense, that when we get initiated, we get names that are names of God or names of servants of God. We're always saying that name, we're always hearing that name. It helps us. But still, we don't, if we are accepting, if we engage in sinful activities, thinking that, and go on chanting Hare Krishna and thinking that we're becoming free from those reactions, then we can't get away with it because we are knowingly committing sinful activities with the intention of just chanting Hare Krishna to become free from those reactions, like that. And it says that one who understands the nature, the transcendental nature of the Lord's appearance and activities, then he becomes liberated. He doesn't have to take birth in this material world again by understanding that nature. And what that means is that if we are, why does the Lord appear? What is the difference between the Lord's appearance and our appearance in this world? The difference is that we take birth, we appear. We say we take birth. Actually, we don't say that we have just appeared. We take birth in this material world because of our envy of God, because of our past sinful activities, our past karma, our past material desires, and we're coming here to work things out. We're coming to this world because of our impurities, our material desires. But when the Lord Krishna comes, he's not forced to come to this world. We are forced, just like a criminal in the society, if caught, will be sent to prison. So that the criminal, he's not going to prison because I just want to go there. I could spend the next 20 years in this prison. I just feel like doing it. No, he's not going there for that reason. He's being forced to. So same way, we are taking birth in this material world because of our material desires, basically our envy of Krishna. That's why we take birth in general. But Lord Krishna, he's not forced to take birth. He's not forced to die. Actually, he doesn't die. Even if Krishna somehow shows in some way that what he's done to disappear from this world, that he's not being forced to do so. He has his reasons for doing something. Just like Lord Krishna, at the end of his worldly pastimes 5,000 years ago, how is he going to disappear? He appeared to be born, although not forced to be born as we understand, but he appeared in that way. And when a time came for him to leave, he appeared to have died. He was actually shot in the foot by a hunter with an arrow, and appeared to have died. And why did he do this? And we don't really hear much about these kind of things because devotees really don't like to talk about God's disappearance from the world. But in reality, Lord Krishna, for his own purpose, his own pastimes, he appeared to have died in that way. Of course, the devotees of the Lord understood what was happening, and for the atheist who wanted to believe, oh, this is Krishna, he's just an ordinary person, he's just like us, maybe a little bit better, but basically just like us. He's not God. So those who want to believe like that, okay. So Lord Krishna gave that opportunity. You want to believe? You want to really believe this? You really want to believe like this? Okay, I'll give you something that you can, to make that faith strong in what you want to believe, not in the truth, but what you want to believe. And that's what he did. He appeared to die, but in reality, of course, Lord Krishna never dies, and in reality, he's never born in the normal sense of birth that we have experience of. And even the Lord's devotees, sometimes there's some extraordinary circumstances under which that they leave this world. So in the Yadu dynasty, after the battle of Kurukshetra, there's no Jai Shri Gornitai, Shri Radha, Brajabihari, Jagannath, Balaram, Lady Subhadra, Lord Shigane, Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. So after the battle of Kurukshetra in the Yadu dynasty became well. In reality, what was happening, it was time for Lord Krishna's pastimes to end. Battle of Kurukshetra was finishing. Lord Krishna had appeared to have left. There was no need for the Pandavas didn't have to be there because they came to assist Lord Krishna in doing what Lord Krishna does, which is to annihilate the miscreant persons and to reestablish the religious principles. So all these things had been accomplished. So it was time for the Lord to leave and to go on with his his other pastimes. There's no need for him to remain in the world at this point. This was he already had been here. At least at the time of the battle of Kurukshetra, it was 125 years old. He appeared. He had been manifesting his pastimes for 125 years at the time of the battle of Kurukshetra. And I don't know how long it was, short time after the battle of Kurukshetra. And then everything's just trying to wind down these pastimes and disappear externally. So he disappeared his way. The Pandavas, understanding that Lord Krishna had already gone, then they started planning. Okay, now we have no business here because we came here to assist Lord Krishna. So now we have no business to be here. So they all went to up into what they say they traveled north up into the mountains, to the Himalayan mountains, and they just walked until they gave up their material bodies, like that. Went back to Godhead, and the rest of the whole Yadu dynasty. Because nobody was powerful enough to defeat the Yadu dynasty. Nobody could defeat them, and those who might have wanted to defeat them, they were already dead after the battle of Kurukshetra. So how do you? And nobody's going to defeat Krishna's family, his intimate associates. So there was also described that there was some arrangement made. Samba, who was a young boy at that time, he and his friends, they were playing. They were actually joking, which they shouldn't have been doing, joking with the Brahmanas, which was actually a series of feds. And they came, the boys came, and Samba was dressed up like a young child. Dressed up like a woman, a pregnant woman with a big stomach, like as though she was pregnant, asking the sages, "Oh, please, the great sages, tell us what kind of child this will be. Will it be a boy or will it be a girl?" But the sages, the Brahmanas, they understood that this was a joke, that the boys were making fun, because this was not a woman at all. This was a young boy, and it was just they're playing. It was a joke. So then they said that this woman will give birth to a lump of iron, and sure enough, they had showing as though this person was pregnant, there appeared a lump of iron, and this lump of iron will destroy the entire dynasty, they said. So then they became very much afraid. They realized, hey, we've really offended the Brahmanas. What are we going to do? So they got some advice, and they thought, okay, well, we're going to get rid of this lump of iron, this big ball of iron, and they ground it up. It was ground up to a powder, and then thrown into the ocean or to the water. But as things happen, and this is all obviously by Lord Krishna's higher arrangements. So what happened was those lumps of iron, those ground up iron, it actually sprouted. It grew into to like rods. It became as hard as iron rods, and the whole dynasty, again, beyond things that why would they do this, but they were inclined to become very intoxicated. So they became intoxicated on it by drinking rice wine. You put some rice in a pot with water, and you let it set for 3 days, and it becomes pretty intoxicating. So they drank like that. So everyone becomes intoxicated, drunk, and then they started fighting with each other. The whole Yadu dynasty, they're all fighting with each other, and they're taking these cane-like things that had grown from the particles of iron that had been ground up, and they started just beating each other with it. So they all killed each other in that way. Nobody outside of that dynasty could do anything to them. They're too powerful. Nobody was powerful enough to do that. So in this way, the whole Yadu dynasty finished off their lives, and Lord Krishna had already left, and then the Pandavas decided, okay, now we will, that means this is time. The Lord's pastimes are finished, and now we are going off on our own to go back and join the Lord, go back to Godhead and join the Lord in our service to Him. There, this is the. So all these activities are basically were actually transcendental. The Lord's appearing, the Lord's disappearing, the arrangement, this extraordinary arrangement made for how the Yadu dynasty would also disappear from this world. All these activities were done by higher arrangement, and if one can understand the spiritual side of this, understand the real reasons that the Lord and His devotees are acting in these ways, then one can go back home, back to the spiritual world at the end of this lifetime, just by understanding that the nature of the Lord and the Lord's activities. One understands the nature of the Lord's appearance, His disappearance, His activities, His pastimes. If we can actually understand that, then we can go back home, back to Godhead. Now, of course, no one has the power to understand everything about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But if we at least can understand that His activities are transcendental, His appearance, His disappearance, His pastimes, like that, is transcendental. And this, of course, was all with Lord Krishna 5,000 years ago. But Lord Chaitanya, His pastimes also are completely transcendental. Lord Chaitanya's pastimes are completely transcendental also. They're totally on the same spiritual level as Lord Krishna's. Um, and of course, Srila Prabhupada was saying here, of course, the material, the Lord's names are not material. A spiritual name, an actual spiritual name regarding the Lord, uh, is not different from the Lord. So if we chant the Lord's holy names, um, then the Lord is actually present in those names, and because He's present in those names, then we're associated with Him by chanting His names. We become purified, and we gradually progress and go back home, back to Godhead. Lord Chaitanya taught, for the people in general, not the scholars, not the great devotees, but just the general public. He got everyone chanting Hare Krishna, and that was for, that's the process for this age. The method of self-realization for this age is chanting the holy names of the Lord. So the people in general, who are maybe not scholarly, maybe not philosophers, but they are they're so much benefited by chanting the Lord's holy names. And then Lord Chaitanya, for a few devotees, scholars like that, then he would speak, very high philosophy, which of course all that knowledge has been recorded. We're reading about, on Sundays, we're reading about Lord Chaitanya and his dealings with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. We can read about Lord Chaitanya and his so many inquiries from Ramananda Rai, and of course Ramananda Rai is giving perfect answers because Lord Krishna or Chaitanya is giving him the intelligence to do so. Lord Chaitanya instructed Rupa Goswami and also Sanatana Goswami is so much knowledge, and told them to take this knowledge now and expand on it. They were scholars. They were very intelligent people, very intelligent men, and so he gave, for them he gave this kind of knowledge, so they can expand on it and help people to become Krishna conscious. Give the philosophical reasons why we do what we do. So not everyone is going to study this philosophy, but Srila Prabhupada gave it all to us, to the world. And so those of us who have taken up the path, who have either been initiated by Srila Prabhupada or by the devotees, by disciples of Srila Prabhupada, whoever has joined this path, joined this movement, we should, as far as we can, study this philosophy and try to teach this philosophy to others. Because most people will not just start chanting Hare Krishna and take it up seriously without, without some understanding why they're doing what they're doing. We need to present to the people in general why one should do, why one should chant the holy names of the Lord. What's the benefit of it? How do you get the most benefit from that chanting? We who have gotten this mercy to become part of ISKCON, we should be able to teach others. In fact, it's Srila Prabhupada's instruction, or Chaitanya's instruction, to wherever you go, whoever you meet, tell them about Krishna, like that. So I think that's all I have to present today. Thank you, those who have come in. There's nobody with me here in the temple. right now. But those who have come in online, thank you very much. I see some comments. I don't see questions here. So if there are no questions, then I think we'll end here. Thank you very much. We'll plan to continue tomorrow with, it would be verse 9, I believe. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.